would like to introduce our special interest person of the week, Benita Younger.
Thank you, Mr. Young, for having me here today.
Benita, I would like to start off by extending our deepest and warmest congratulations to you for your academic achievements of being accepted into medical school. We all understand how difficult it is in today's society for an African American female to excel in the world that is designed towards the success of the Caucasian male.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Becoming an African American physician has been a dream of not only mine, but of my parents since I was a little girl. My father and mother have always been driven for our family to live the American dream, and for me to be accepted to medical school is just one more step towards achieving their dream.
Your parents must be very proud of you.
I am sure that my father would have been very proud of me, but unfortunately he died when I was a young girl.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
My mother and I have not always agreed upon our views, but she does support me on my goal to become a physician.
In what ways do you and your mother not agree?
Sometimes I wish that she did not desire to live in the Caucasian world as much as she does, but instead to consider focusing on our heritage and making our own world a better place. And I believe if you asked her, she would say she wishes I were not so independent and more family-oriented. I know she certainly would like me to consider choosing marriage instead of a career.
So are there any prospects for a husband in your future?
I currently have two male friends who are both very different from one another. My friend George could provide me with all the financial security that I would need, but my friend Asagai, a medical student from Nigeria, has opened my eyes to my heritage and my family has spent so many years forgetting.
It sounds like you are a little torn in your values, and if your parents' dreams for a better life are really the same as yours, can you tell us what this American dream is that your father and mother wanted for you?
My father has lived in America for 5 generations. My father worked long hours in any factory that would hire him. He was a frugal, smart, and loving man. He was stern because he wanted his children to be his true legacy. My father's American dream was that although we were African American, that our family be accepted into the Caucasian world. He and my mother dreamed of owning their own home with a yard and a small garden, and for my brother Walter and I to be educated and looked at with the same respect as any Caucasian child. I guess you could say my parents' dream was to leave their African American roots behind and to live as Caucasians.
I'm getting a sense of turmoil about what your dreams are. So can you tell me, how does your brother Walter feel about your parents' dreams?
My brother Walter's main focus is more on financial gain. He is always looking for a quick solution and will do anything for $1. He believes that money will solve all the world's problems. He certainly desires to live with the Caucasian world, but he desires to do it as a wealthy man and not just owning a home.
Getting back to medical school, I understand you come from a middle-class family, but I know medical school is very expensive. May I ask how you are funding for such an endeavor?
Mr. Young, you are correct in saying this is a great endeavor and that medical school is very expensive. My mother was left a $10,000 life insurance check after my father's death. With that money, she intended to fulfill their dream of buying a house in the neighborhood of Clybourne Park. After placing a down payment, she instructed my brother to put $3,000 in an account to pay for my education.
It sounds like you have it all planned out.
Mr. Young, life is never that simple. At the same time that Mother received my father's life insurance check, my brother had a different idea as to how to spend it. My brother had 2 friends that thought it would be a large money maker to open a liquor store. My brother felt that this would be his ticket to financial success, and therefore he would never have to worry about money problems again.
Benita, I am uncertain that I want to ask what happened next, but being a reporter, my curiosity is getting the best of me.
My mother told my brother that he could have the remaining $3,500 after the down payment on our new house and setting aside my education money. However, my brother chose to invest all $6,500 into the liquor store, leaving no money for my medical education.
This is awful. How did you find out?
We were just sitting down to celebrate Christmas when Bobo, one of Walter's friends, arrived. After some stumbling through conversation, he announced that Willie Harris had run off with all of the money that Walter had invested in the liquor store deal. However, Mr. Young, losing all of my education money was not the only dilemma we were to face that day.
Benita, can you please elaborate?
We had a visitor by the name of Carl Linder who appeared at the door. He was a representative from the Clybourne Park Improvement Association, and he told us that problems tend to arise when different kinds of people do not sit down and talk to each other. He stated that he and the Neighborhood Coalition believed that our family's presence in Clybourne Park would upset the community. The current residents were all white, working-class people who did not want anything to threaten their dream that they had for their community. Mr. Linder told us that the association was prepared to offer us more money than we were to pay for the house in exchange for not moving to Clybourne Park. My family became very upset, and Walter firmly told Mr. Linder that we would not accept the offer.
So did you move into Clybourne Park?
Mama had decided that we would not move, and Walter decided to call Mr. Linder to take him up on his financial offer not to move. However, by that time, Mr. Linder came to our apartment. Walter had changed his mind. His pride became more important to him than his dream of money. Walter finally recognized that being proud of his family was more important than having money.
So did you move into Clybourne Park?
Yes, we did move into Clybourne Park. Our family now knows that we will achieve one of our American dreams and not let racism get in our way.
What about medical school?
After realizing how much racism there is in the world, I have started to question my choice of becoming a physician. I am no longer certain that I can really help people.
So this journey along with facing racism has all been for nothing?
No, medical school is uncertain right now. However, with the help of my friend and soon-to-be husband, Assegai, now I have a new dream. I will return to Africa to help bring positive changes throughout this experience. I have grown in many different ways, but I will always maintain my independence.
Benita, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. I wish you great success in all your future endeavors, and I hope that your dreams will come true.
Thank you, Mr. Young, for having me.